we're gonna just do a little playtime, and I have cut some pennants already from cardstock. I've got a few from Toffee. I've got one from Earl Grey and one with Sugar Cube. So what I'm gonna do first is set up the background stamp. Left it back here on the counter, and it looks like this is typical Taylor, so I did not wash my stamp after I used it. So I'm going to quickly just spritz this with my Stamper's Spritz and my cleaning cloth here and wipe that clean. Everyone in the office will tell you here that I am notorious for not cleaning my stamps after I use them. So they always know if they grab something from the cupboard and it's not washed, it was probably me. All right, so after we clean that a bit, we've got our stamp ready to work with. Pick that up here, and I die cut these pennants first because it was just a little bit easier, and I wanted to show you guys how the wreath fits on these pennants. So let's do a white one first. Sound good? We're gonna move it all the way over. I think I need some adhesive to make sure I keep that in the same spot, but all right, we're gonna move on without the adhesive. I don't think I'm gonna wanna close the lid twice because this pattern looks a lot better when it's not, I guess, too dark. You want something a little bit lighter that blends in a bit. So I'm starting with a Toffee ink onto the Sugar Cube cardstock. We'll see how that one looks. Anybody have any suggestions that you would like to see me try with this linen background? I'm happy to do that. Pretty. So you can see how it looks kind of speckled, and as it dries, it's actually probably going to get a little bit lighter. You can see this one here that's been drying for a little while. It looks a little bit lighter than this version that we just stamped. A little bit more realistic and fabric-like. So I love this linen. I'm loving it. Okay, let's try something with Sugar Cube. So we've got a Toffee pennant. Let me find my wet spot here where we washed our stamp, and I'll just wipe that off with the Toffee, and we'll go with our Sugar Cube. Speaking of Sugar Cube, I know we got that back in stock in the mini pad, if you guys have been waiting for that. Grab our white, this is our white pigment ink, is called Sugar Cube. Okay. Close that and see what that comes out like. Anna asked, how long does the ink take to dry? If you're looking at something like the Toffee ink that is a dye-based ink, it's dry to the touch within about, I would say, 5 seconds. But if you're looking for maybe the lighter version of that, altogether, if you give it about a minute, it'll look a little bit lighter than it did when you first stamped it. It's still dry, but over time the color continues to seep into the cardstock, and then it just looks a little lighter. I am going to try and stamp this one again. I want a little bit more of that Sugar Cube look. It's a little less visible. Yeah, that I like better. So I did 2 stampings on this one, and looks like a cool canvas. I'm going to try, I haven't done one on the Earl Grey yet. Haven't tried that one. I did have here, I can show you before I came on, I did have a Toffee on Toffee. So this is tone on tone, Toffee cardstock with Toffee ink. And then I did a white with Earl Grey. So here we have our white with Toffee and white with Earl Grey, and then we have our Toffee with Toffee and Toffee with Sugar Cube. All this talk about candy and toffee and sugar, and Getting hungry. Okay. Kathy says she likes all the different sizes that you get with the pennant die set. Yes. You could use the largest pennant too to create an actual, maybe for your mantle, a decor piece of some sort. And I said this earlier, but I think this is one that I can see using for lots of different occasions and holidays. It gives just a little bit of texture without adding too much. So there is the sugar cube on the Earl Grey. All right, so let's keep going. I wanted to play with that Farmhouse Wreath today. I haven't had a chance yet to play with this guy, so I wanted to show you how it works on the linen pennant that we just created. So I need to bring back, because these are clear stamps, I'm sure you guys all know this if you use your MISTI often. If you're using the clear stamps, you need to put this black pad underneath. Gives it a little bit more height because the clear stamps don't have quite as large of a profile as the rubber stamps. So when you're using the rubber, you take the black out. And when you're using the clear, you put the black in. All right, so we're going to put this down here. Now we did keep the floor of the stamp in the middle, so that's the solid part of the stamp. Instead of cutting it out in the middle, sometimes when you cut a large stamp like this out in the middle, it gets a little flimsy and it's hard to get it, you don't want to have a squishy wreath. So that was why we did it that way. And I'm going to make sure I can get this to stay down. I only have one magnet. Do I have another magnet here? I do. What color would you do the linen stamp on red cardstock? You know what? I would try white on red cardstock, or I would do the same color red ink and cardstock. That would give you maybe a more muted look. And the other way that I said, the white on the red, is going to give you something a little bit more visible. So just kind of depends on the rest of your project, I guess, if you want something that's more in your face or not. So I need to start over because I didn't have enough magnets down here, and then it pulled my paper away. So we're just going to line this up over again here. Do over. Somebody said, I'm sure one of the pennant dies would work as a pocket on a shirt. Yes, you could design your own shirt, and this would be the pocket and whatever you wanted to come out of the pocket. That would be really cute. Good idea. Lots of different ways you can use this pennant. Okay, so I'm going to ink this up. Looks like everybody's got lots of suggestions for your red cardstock for Christmas. Sometimes it's just about doing what we're doing here and taking out a bunch of cardstock and grabbing your inks and just playing and seeing what happens and what you like best, and then going from there. I do that a lot, so it's not like the very first time I try something is always the exact way that I end up using it. So I am going to wipe the floor of the stamp so that I don't get any of those middle parts stamped down on my wreath here. And I decided to stamp this in black because I am going to do something kind of Halloween-ish. I'm going to use those bats here in a minute. And I'm just going to stamp this a couple times to give us a good crisp impression. All right, somebody else said flip the pennant around to make a tag base. Yeah, so you just put your little circle up here and then you've got kind of a wider tag to work with for sure. That would be cool too. It kind of also looks like a little house if you wanted to add the roof to your house. Now I'm really loving these pennant stacklets because you guys are giving all kinds of uses for them. All right, so this, I'm going to use the Boo. Oh yes, Larissa, good suggestion. She says she likes to stamp with our sea salt ink. It's the perfect shadow ink. So sea salt is very light gray, and sometimes it has almost a tone on tone effect if you're using it with a darker color like a red with sea salt. And now let's go ahead and put these bats on. So as I mentioned earlier, you could take the extra, you can see the extra piece here that fills in the leaves. If you wanted a full-on background or a full-on wreath filled with leaves, it just fits perfectly up in that area. Or if you wanted to decorate your wreath with any of the other options, I am going to stick the bats up here with the boo. And I'm going for like a classic black and white look with a little bit of texture, very similar to what you see in all the farmhouse decor these days. It seems like everything is crisp and white with black accents, and I've been really drawn to that look in the home decor side of things, so that's kind of what I'm going for with this project. I'm not sure what the final card will turn out like, but that's another thing. You just keep playing with it until something happens. And we'll get another black. It would be kind of cool if I had stamped these bats in Versamark and then I could emboss them in black and give them a little bit of a shiny effect there. You know, one more time on just the, oh, what the hey, we'll do it all. Okay, so super simple. You guys, I love it when you find or figure out just by watching these that this is really easy. And I love versatility, so that's why we put all these different options in the set so that it's not just a set for Halloween. It does a lot more than that. So you've got flowers and stars and snowflakes and something you can grab for lots of different seasons. Okay, so here is my little pennant. I chose the sugar cube with the toffee over it. And then I wanted to bring in, this is a card base A2 size, and I wanted to show how that largest pennant that I die cut fits perfectly on there. It could be really cute to almost put like a dowel up here as if this were hanging as a pennant. And you could stamp the background of your card with the linen to bring in a little bit more of the dimension to the background of the card. Or you could try a different background stamp. I think maybe our striped background would look kind of cool, give it that fresh graphic feel to it. So yes, there you have it. What set is the word set? So the word set is called Farmhouse Sentiments, and then the wreath is called Farmhouse Wreath. Yeah, Lynn says I can emboss the bats with my glow-in-the-dark powder. I sure could. That would be fun too. So let's try, I was going to see about stamping this, maybe not on this color. Let's try this one. I was going to see about stamping it in green ink, just to show you guys what that would look like, but it will require me to wash this. So I realize I'm going kind of overtime today, but I thought it would be fun to just play together instead of me showing you just one small aspect of the collection and then being off. So I am doing a little more just kind of playing, and I understand if you got to head out. I know lots of you guys try to tune in over your lunch break. I will be drawing the winner at the end, which if you are the winner, no worries, you don't have to be present to win. I will contact you. All right, so if we wanted a green wreath, kind of like what Melody did for her Christmas project, there are some colors that I really like on the toffee. One of them is sweet basil. I don't believe that's what I brought in with me today, though. I think I brought in pea pod, so we're going to try pea pod. Yes, Larissa, playing is the best. And that's one of the things that I miss the most about this, I guess, coronavirus time is playtime. There just isn't a lot of it, with gatherings being eliminated for the most part. It's just fun to sit around with friends and just mess around with your stuff and see what happens. So there we have a green wreath. Now let's fill it in with the piece of greenery. So these are the leaves that finish out the rest of that wreath. And you can see to position them just perfectly on that open wreath area. We'll get rid of this guy over here. And stamp again in the pea pod. I think you would want it to match your other part of your wreath, so I'm not sure I would ever choose to do that in a different color for any reason. All right, so there we have our green wreath, and we're going to use the little cluster of berries. I did not, hold on just a second, I'm going to go grab an acrylic block because I think that's going to be the easiest way. Well, maybe not. It might be nice to be able to close the lid more than once in the same spot. So I'm going to set the berries up here. Come on, get off my finger. What do you guys do about that? If you're stamping, I don't stamp with clear stamps a lot. So when you're trying to set it up and it keeps sticking to your finger, is there like a trick for that? I need some help. All right, so I am, oh, that's cool. I don't know if you can really see this, but the red kind of picked up the white from the linen background. You can see that. So it looks distressed on the berries, like it matches, almost like it's printed on a piece of linen. So I'm actually not gonna stamp that again because I really like that look of the berries with the white showing through from the linen. Kind of happy accidents happen sometimes when you just mess around. So I'll do this a couple more times, but you guys get the picture on what we would do with the berries. And then we would put something like, let's do joy in the middle. One of my very favorite words. All right, so if we place that joy, yes, Heather says as the stamp picks up ink and oils, it gets less sticky on it. So what you're saying, Heather, is I just need to use my stamps, my clear stamps more, and then I won't have this finger sticky problem. All right, anti-static powder on my hand. Try that too. All right, so we've got our joy in the middle of the wreath. Okay, guys, I think we haven't even come out with our Christmas stuff yet, but I might have just designed my Christmas card because this was super easy and cute, and I kind of love it. What do you guys think? I'll bring both of them in here. So we've got the, where did my Halloween version go? Right here. So there's the Halloween version with the bats and the Christmas version. Whoop, whoop. Do you have a favorite? It's amazing. I love it. And I am still just in awe. I love how it picked that detail up, and you can even see it through the letters of the joy. It really looks distressed. So kind of a cool thing to think about, if you're stamping the linen in Sugar Cube, it's going to pick up some of that color from whatever you're stamping over the top of it.